Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About House. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, so I'm here with the fabulous and glamorous Juana, who is all dressed up in her fancy dress and super straight hair. That she got her hair has to get her hair straightened because it's so curly. She'll look like this for a couple months. It'll go back to being curly. So, okay, MBS Highway, their organization that just takes surveys and provides some data, information, and recommendations. They have a March housing survey out for this year. Just came out. It's very interesting. We're going to talk about it because they give some actual data, but then at the end they make this very forward-looking prediction thing that they recommend. And it actually, as much as I think housing is going to do pretty well in the future, they make a very stark prediction.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to talk about that prediction. It's not our prediction; it's their prediction. But you may, by the end of the video, you may start to, understand some of this a little more. Okay, MBS Highway's March 2023 housing survey showed resilient levels of buying activity and an improved pricing environment, despite a 100 basis point rise in the 30-year mortgage rates during February. So what does this mean, Juana? Even though interest rates went up, we had prices go up and buying activity increase, right? Which is counterintuitive to how a lot of people, thought it would do it.
Right. So people think that interest rates drive housing, and they don't. So that's the first point that I want to make. Interest rates do not drive housing. Interest rates don't drive a whole lot of things, actually. What does drive housing is jobs. So people have jobs so they can afford to buy houses. Okay. What does drive housing is inventory. So we have a fairly low level of inventory right now, but we still have a lot of demand. It's springtime. This is the time of year when people purchase homes. So that's part of the reason why we've had such a robust February.
Okay. The next thing they measure is they interview agents and mortgage brokers to talk about what they believe local buyer activity is. And they have a bunch of different categories. So after a dramatic improvement in last month's survey, so it was a dramatic improvement last month, a steady 56% of respondents characterized their local buyer activity as very active. Okay, that was one of 5 categories, very active, the highest category. Somewhat active or steady, so the top 3 categories. That same figure was 19% in November. So remember, in November, 81% of all people were in the bottom 2 categories. Now, 56% are in the top 3 categories of buyer activity. So they're saying buyer activity's picked up. And these are people all over the country.
Right.
And so some of that is just natural time of the year, right?
Right. So a lot of it is natural time of the year. A lot of it is also because we had such low buyer activity in the fourth quarter of last year. Those people that would have bought in the fourth quarter have now been pushed in the first quarter of this year because they still do need to buy a house.
Okay. The next thing that they did was I'll read the quote and then we'll talk about it. While inventory levels rebounded in 2022, so inventory rebounded in the fall and summer, okay? Inventory came back to almost a normal level. Not normal level meaning normal for the last 3 years, but it never got back to the normal levels of before the pandemic. The number of available homes remains significantly below pre-pandemic levels. Coupled with the recovery in demand, this is driving a resurgence of buyer competition in certain markets. 32% of respondents said that homes were selling quickly with multiple offers. A third. Quickly with multiple offers. That's obviously showing that the buyers haven't walked because of interest rates, right? And it's up from 20% in February, 4% January. So it's 4% in January, 20% in February, 32%, probably be higher next month.
Right. Yeah, I mean...
And are you seeing this?
Yeah.
Because you have hundreds of listings.
Right. So, so we are seeing this. It's kind of the same story that's always been the case. A house comes on the market, and a house that is a good product and it's priced appropriately is going to generate a lot of interest, and that's when you're most likely to get an offer. The longer a house has been on the market, the more people have looked at it and they have chosen to pass on it. They've chosen to pass either because the product is not to their taste, or because the property is priced incorrectly. But of course, with more houses coming on the market in the spring, which is normal, that's causing this whole buyer frenzy, because the houses that have been on the market for 120 days, buyers have already decided that they're not interested. That product is not to their liking. Now, that's not to say that people shouldn't take a second look at those homes, because I think every home is worth looking at again, because maybe it was priced incorrectly before, maybe it's had a price improvement, maybe it's worth it now. But right now we're seeing a lot of activity with buyers coming back and looking in earnest. Even people that we've talked to over the last few months that said, well, we're going to buy in the summer or we're going to buy in the fall, all of a sudden they decide, no, we're going to buy right now.
Yeah. Okay. Before I read the last statement, I'm going to show you this chart. This is a chart we did on a previous video. Mm-hmm. This is my favorite chart now. This shows the inventory level of homes over the last 7 or 8 years, and it shows the price, listing price. As you can see, there is a 1-for-1 correlation between lack of inventory and home prices going up. You can also see the seasonal changes as home prices go up and down throughout the year, which they do. They go up and down, but they tend to go up or they go down, which is why home prices go up. You can see that there is nothing on the horizon that is going to make inventory just go up, because we were told interest rates would do it, and interest rates are more than double what they were this time last year, and inventory is falling off a cliff. It's
right,
going
so
away.
The higher interest rates go, the less inventory we're going to have, because the people with the low interest rates are going to hang on to those interest rates, and they're less likely to sell the property. They are more likely to hang on to the property and maybe turn it into a rental and go buy something else rather than give up that 2-point-something interest rate.
Okay, burn this chart in your mind. Okay, look at it, think about it. I asked the people on the last video to answer one simple question. When you look at this chart, if I had shown you this chart back in 2019 and then told you, what do you think is going on with interest rates in the future? You would have never said, oh, interest rates are 7% or the highest they've been in 15 years. You would have never guessed it based on this, because home prices are going up and inventory is decreasing. And that counterintuitively, you've never guessed it, which means to me, Juana, that interest rates don't have that big of an effect.
They don't have that big of an effect on buyers. They have a bigger effect on sellers.
Okay. Now we're going to read their final summary. Okay, this is going to shock some of you. If you're riding a bike or on the treadmill, you may want to stop and put it on a pause and step off and find a place to sit down. Okay, here we go. It's impressive to see activity levels hold up even with the recent, and we think short-lived, increase in mortgage rates. It's also a powerful reminder how strong underlying demand is. Inflation will continue to ease and mortgage rates will follow it lower. That's why we're encouraging buyers to act before the stampede comes. Sellers are open to negotiation and prices are down modestly, but this won't last, said Barry Habib, MBS Highway founder and CEO. Okay, I don't know. I wouldn't make that stark of a statement.
Okay, so I want to clarify this. This is not Todd saying this is a good time for you to buy.
Oh my God,
This
yes.
is somebody else saying he was reading a quote. So I want to make sure we're very clear on this.
Someone will say, why do you keep saying it's a good time to buy? We're not saying it's a good time. We're just telling you this, what people are, anyway. First of all, I said I don't agree with this, because I think when interest rates drop, a lot of sellers will come back out and want to sell.
Yes.
And we'll get some more inventory, because you have people trapped. They're trapped because they can't move. People in Europe have this problem. Mm-hmm. They're trapped. A lot of people are like, I own the house. I really can't sell it because I'm going to get wrecked with taxes. That's the problem in Europe. Why you get these generational homes where people just pass them on their kids. They can't sell and move because they get destroyed in taxes when they sell, and then they don't have any equity to move anyway. And then, of course, stuff is expensive everywhere.
Right.
They have this problem. We didn't used to have this problem in the U.S. We're starting to have this problem. And for us in the industry, it's actually not a fun problem to have, even though we own a bunch of properties. It's great to be able to raise rents and get more money, but now it's painful to try to transact and move real estate around, buy something, sell something, do all that.
Right. Okay.
That was it. That was the whole thing on, I mean, it was literally, at first I wasn't going to do the video because the normal increasing stuff we see every year, like went from 4 to 20 to 48 or whatever. But this statement, I was like, okay, we need to do a video and just talk about this one person's opinion. what caught me was before the Stampede. I do believe we did a video where NerdWallet had done a thing and they had said 37 million people intend to buy a house in the next year. We're like, there's only going to be like 3 or 4 million total sales if we can get that many because inventory is down so low. The total, when people complain in the comments about Todd, but we have so few sales compared to this time last year, it's because we don't have any inventory. You can't have sales if you don't have homes on the market. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say inventory is going to, if inventory had gone up like they said it would to 20 or 30,000 homes in Vegas and 2 million in the US, there would be way more sales right now than there were in 2022. Way more sales because there'd be more homes to pick from.
Right.
There's not more sales because there's just not enough homes.
Right. People are interested in buying. There just isn't the product out there for them to buy.
Yeah.
So anyway, hope you liked the charts. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, if it was interesting, if it was entertaining, made you laugh, educated you, please go ahead and subscribe, like the video, hit the notification bell, share the video, leave us a love note, be nice to each other in the comments, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.